I'm going on a date. Pray for me. That was the last message Sydney Loofe posted on Snapchat. A 24-year-old store clerk from Lincoln, Nebraska. She wasn't someone who lived recklessly. She adored her cat. She loved her job. She texted her mom every day. But on the night of November 15th, 2017, Sydney disappeared after meeting someone on Tinder. At first, it seemed like she had just gone off the grid. Her phone was off, her apartment undisturbed, no sign of forced entry. But the silence was deafening. Sydney wasn't the type to ghost anyone, especially not her mom. As hours stretched into days, concern turned into dread. Detectives combed through her digital trail and found her last Tinder match, a woman named Bailey Boswell. Bailey seemed friendly, bubbly, young, but she wasn't alone. Behind the profile, hidden in the shadows, was Aubrey Trail, a 51-year-old con man with a violent past and a disturbing obsession with power and control. Bailey wasn't a date. She was bait. Trail and Boswell lived together in a dingy basement apartment. To outsiders, they posed as antique dealers. But inside, they ruled a twisted world. Trail claimed he had supernatural powers. He told young women he was a vampire, that he could offer them protection, wealth, a family, if they agreed to submit. Sydney, tragically, matched with the wrong profile. Some speculated about Sydney's orientation, but there's no indication she was romantically interested in Bailey. It's believed Bailey posed as a friendly connection or as a gateway to someone else, masking the real danger. Sydney thought she was meeting someone new. She was, in fact, stepping into a trap. Surveillance footage showed Sydney entering Bailey's car on the night of November 15th. That was the last time anyone saw her alive. Police questioned Trail and Boswell. Their stories didn't add up. They claimed Sydney left on her own. Then they posted bizarre Facebook videos saying they were being framed, smiling into the camera like nothing had happened. Meanwhile, Sydney's face flooded social media. Hashtags spread. Friends organized search parties. Her family pleaded on the news for her safe return. Then came the discovery. On December 4, 2017, Sydney's dismembered body was found in 14 pieces, stuffed into garbage bags, and discarded along ditches in rural Nebraska. The autopsy couldn't determine an exact cause of death, but what was done to her afterward was horrifying. This wasn't just murder. This was erasure. The nation was stunned. Who were these people? Why Sydney? Trail and Boswell were arrested, and what came next shocked even seasoned investigators. Witnesses described what they called a sex cult led by Trail, complete with written rules, punishments, rituals. Women said he choked them until they passed out, that he demanded obedience, silence, that he chose victims based on vulnerability. Sydney wasn't the first girl they contacted, just the first who didn't make it out. In court, the prosecution revealed a spreadsheet where Trail had rated other women he had manipulated. Sydney's name wasn't even there. Some believe it's because she was never intended to survive the initial initiation. One woman described being locked in a small room. Another was told she'd be punished for disobedience by being left alone in the dark for hours. Trail saw himself not as a boyfriend, but as a master. During the trial, Trail screamed in court and slashed his own throat with a razor blade. Blood gushed down his chest as the courtroom erupted in chaos. He survived, but the message was clear. Even under judgment, he still craved control. Bailey Boswell was tried separately. Her defense claimed she didn't know Trail's intentions, But texts, videos, and purchases said otherwise. She lured Sydney. She helped clean up. She even went shopping for the tools used to dismember her. Neither jury bought the defense. In 2021, Aubrey Trail was sentenced to death, the first execution sentence in Nebraska in more than 2 decades. Boswell received life without parole. But the story didn't end there. Trail appealed, citing mental illness, procedural errors, anything to delay the inevitable. In March 2024, the Nebraska Supreme Court denied his final appeal, affirming his death sentence. For Sydney's family, it was justice, but not peace. Because what haunts most people isn't just how Sydney died, it's how easily it could have been anyone. She wasn't reckless. She wasn't chasing danger. She used an app millions of people use every day. She trusted a smile and photo and kind words, and that trust was weaponized. What made this crime even more chilling was the preparation. It wasn't a mistake. It was rehearsed, calculated. Trail and Boswell had targeted multiple women. Some came forward during the investigation. Some testified. They described how Trail made them feel like property. He demanded to be called Daddy. He spoke about punishment as if it were a privilege. This wasn't a love story gone wrong. It was a system of abuse. Sydney's family showed up to court nearly every day. Her mother kept a photo of her daughter in her hand like a shield. Her father wore a pin with her initials. They didn't speak often to the press, but when they did, their words landed hard. "We raised her to be kind," her mother said. "We never thought we had to raise her to be afraid." Today, Sydney's legacy lives on, not just in headlines, but in action. Her parents launched a scholarship in her name, supporting young women studying criminal justice and victim advocacy. They speak at colleges. They push for stronger background checks on dating apps. They advocate for awareness because they know Sydney isn't the only one. And they're right. Each time someone swipes right, they're stepping into a space of hope and risk. Sydney's story reminds us all that not every profile tells the truth. Behind the perfect smile, behind the carefully chosen bio, sometimes there are monsters. Sydney didn't deserve what happened to her. But her story now protects others. Every time her name is spoken, every time her story is told, so is a warning for anyone searching for connection in a world where predators disguise themselves as matches. A reminder that trust, once given, can't always be taken back. And a vow that the darkness she was dragged into will never swallow her memory. If this story stayed with you, subscribe to Roadside Tales, where every journey holds a secret, and some roads lead straight into the dark.